All right, guys, the first thing that I do here is start cutting up my 2 blocks of cheese. I have 1 block of extra sharp cheddar cheese, and then I have a block of Colby Jack cheese. The next thing that I did here, guys, is I went ahead and cut open my lobster and took the tails out of the shell. I did use kitchen shears. They make cutting open the lobster a whole lot easier. I did go ahead and devein the lobster tails. They also have veins in them, like crawfish do. Once I deveined the lobster tails, I did go ahead and cut them up into bite-sized chunks. And then I set them aside. I will be putting those into a pan later with some shrimp and some garlic. Ahead of time, I did boil my shrimp peelings with about 2 cups of water with a little bit of crab oil and a little Creole seasoning to make a seafood stock. I did go ahead and put my lobster tails in a pan with about a cup of shrimp, with a half a stick of butter, and also about 4 garlic cloves. I let that simmer down in the butter and set it aside. Now for the cheese sauce, I went ahead and melted a stick of butter and added about 3 tablespoons of flour to the melted butter, so that I can make a sort of a roux. Just don't let it get too dark to go ahead and get my macaroni and cheese sauce started. Next, I added a 1.5 cups of whole milk to my roux mixture and let that simmer a little while. Next, I added a carton of heavy whipping cream also to the mixture. And then from there, I added a half of can of evaporated milk. While working on my cheese sauce mixture, I did go ahead and get my noodles going. I just boiled them for about 8 minutes or so. At this point, I did go ahead and add about a cup of that seafood stock into my cheese sauce mixture so that could give it some extra flavor. I also went ahead and added my cut up cheese pieces into my sauce as well. I added some salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder to the mixture at this point in the cheese sauce mixture. You'll also want to taste that to make sure that the flavors are right and that it's not over salted. I added a dash of Creole seasoning there. It wasn't much. And I also added some Old Bay seasoning to my cheese sauce mixture as well. Go ahead and add a cup of Parmesan cheese to your cheese mixture. Give it a good stir, and then go ahead and add a cup of Gruyere cheese to the mixture as well. Stir that up and let it simmer. Go ahead and add 3/4 of your lobster tails and shrimp to the mixture. Leave about a handful aside. I did sprinkle some on top of my macaroni and cheese before I put it into the oven. Also, go ahead and add 3/4 of that container of crab meat to your cheese mixture. Go ahead and stir everything up. You may have to chop up that crab meat a little bit just to make sure that it's not any big chunks of it in your cheese mixture. Go ahead and add your noodles to your cheese mixture. It really just depends on how much you're making. You may not need to make as much as I made. You can always cut that recipe in half if you'd like. Go ahead and add a fourth stick of butter to, I use the same pan that I did the shrimp and lobster in. Also, you can go ahead and add about 2 cups of panko breadcrumbs, and I've also added about a teaspoon of Old Bay seasoning. I did go ahead and turn the fire on, melt the butter, and go ahead and let that brown a little bit and get mixed in real good. I went ahead and put my shrimp, lobster, and crab meat on top of my macaroni and cheese, and then went ahead and put the breadcrumbs on top. I did go ahead and preheat my oven to 375. I went ahead and put this macaroni and cheese into the oven for about 25 minutes, and here is the final product.